Thanks, Postecoglou ahead of Tottenham against AZ Alkmaar, live here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this evening. Simple question, Dean Ashton. If Tottenham go out tonight and they need to win to avoid that happening, will Postecoglou still be the Tottenham manager come the start of next season?
Yes, he should be, in my opinion. I think he's had terrible luck with injuries in such a key part of the team that I think is so important to the way he wants to play. At the start of the season, we saw what they're capable of when he has his full strength squad. They can go up against the best in the Premier League and be better than the best in the Premier League. And if you've seen that and that they're capable of it, why wouldn't you entrust better players with that manager? Can the hierarchy here at Tottenham give the manager a little bit more help? Get that extra quality into the squad that he can work with. That would be my point of view.
Well, the teams have just emerged from the mouth of the tunnel on a massive night for Tottenham. If they are to be playing European football of any kind next season, they simply have to go through Frankfurt or Ajax lie in wait in the quarter-final. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium looking resplendent, packed to the rafters. There are 1,100 travelling Alkmaar fans who are making plenty of noise, all holding red scarves above their heads over on the far side. I guess the important thing tonight, Dean, is that Tottenham start the game on the front foot. They start positively and confidently. I've re-watched the first leg, preparing for this game earlier today. They were quite fortunate, in truth, to only lose 1-0. They barely had a glove on Alkmaar away from home.
Yeah, they were very fortunate. It took a really good save from Vicario when Troy Parrott went through 1v1. And AZ were the better team last week. Look, there's players coming back for Tottenham. This is a stronger side than it was in the first leg, and they would be expecting a much better performance, starting, like you said, with an intensity and no nervousness, and actually taking the positives from what was a good recovery against Bournemouth, try and take that forwards. And ultimately, I want to see more. I want to see more of Maddison. You know, I want to see more of Son, Solanke. These players need to really show why they are top players, and these kind of nights is what it's about, because AZ Alkmaar are a very, very good defensive side. And they're not going to make it easy, that's for sure, but that quality can be key.
And is it a night when they need the fans as well? I mentioned we've got a capacity crowd. Tickets for European games, for any cup games, in fact, aren't part of the season ticket prices, so everybody's paid extra at 35 quid, I believe, for an adult ticket. But it can be a stadium where things aren't going well. It can turn toxic quite quickly, and Tottenham can't afford for that to happen tonight.
No, look, the players, as players in difficult moments, you need the supporters, you need that boost, you need them to believe in you, and that's what the supporters have got to do this evening. Look, it's down to you as the players. If you perform, you lift the crowd, that'll do, you'll do the job. So as players, I think you need to take responsibility to make sure what you're delivering on the pitch will give the supporters, especially the ones that are paid the extra, like you said, to be here tonight to support the team.
You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van. Just a reminder of the main team news for Spurs. 4 alterations from that side. They were 2-0 down here against Bournemouth on Sunday. Came back to draw 2-2 in the Premier League. Mickey van der Ven, Lucas Bergvall, who scored the unfortunate own goal in the first leg last week. James Maddison and the captain Son are the players who come into the 11. It will be Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Van der Ven, Romero and Spence in front of him, Bergvall, Sarr and Maddison the midfield, with Odobert and Son either side of Dominic Solanke in attack. A strong Tottenham bench: Basuma, Tell, Udogie, Gray, Johnson, Ben Davis back from injury, and then the youngsters Scarlett and Moore, backup goalkeepers Austin and Whiteman. It feels like a defining night, not just in Tottenham's season, but in Ange Postecoglou's tenure here in North London. Can they overturn that 1-0 first leg deficit and book their place in the quarter-finals? It is James Maddison who gets us underway As the volume levels continue to rise, Tottenham all in white, shooting from right to left in this first half. RZ Alkmaar all in red. They are attacking the goal away to our right, and they have an early throw. The team 6th in the Eredivisie, but only 3 points off the top 3. As the blonde-haired Bergval quickly regains possession for Tottenham, and then Romero knocks it back to his goalkeeper Vicario, and Vicario plays the ball out to the left-hand side, and it's going to be clipped forward, looking for Dominic Solanke. Maddison comes across and picks up possession on this near touchline, then plays a lovely reverse pass to Jed Spence. Jed Spence looking for Son, didn't quite provide the perfect pass. The ball is behind for a goal kick, but nonetheless that is Tottenham starting on the front foot, Dean.
It is, and it was started by Dominic Solanke, who made a darting run down that left-hand side. He is an important player because out of possession in particular, he gives Tottenham something different. He's absolutely one of the best in terms of that work rate, intelligence defensively to set a press off for his side, and it means they can get up the pitch a bit further, Tottenham, when they have him playing.
Spurs 0, RZ 0, 1-0 to the visitors on aggregate. We've played about 90 seconds and it's been constant Tottenham possession. Here's the skipper Son down the left-hand side, linking up with Spence, who keeps his place tonight, despite the fact that Davis and Udogie are available on the bench. It's a mark of how impressively Jed Spence has been playing, making his 23rd appearance of the season, possibly might be in the England squad tomorrow, you never know. Here's Son attacking again down the left, but he's run into trouble, and the ball is picked up by Sadiq inside his own half and then swept forward by Cope Miners calmly by Pedro Porro, nodded back to the goalkeeper Vicario, and Tottenham will build again down their right with Porro. Here's Audebert, the summer signing from Burnley, coming into midfield and again playing it back to Vicario, all in yellow, and he leaves it for Christian Romero to come tiptoeing forward. Those two, Van der Ven and Romero, playing together from the start of a game for the first time since early December. Son trying to play it around the corner into Dominic Solanke, maybe a bit too intricate from the Spurs striker. They still have possession though with Romero, and then a free kick has been conceded by Pap Sarr. The referee waited to see if there was an advantage as Müller-Wolfer went down. There wasn't one, and it's going to be a free kick for RZ deep inside their own half. The referee tonight, João Pinheiro from Portugal. We've got an all-Portuguese officiating team. Good opening 4 minutes, Dean Ashton, for Spurs, 0-0.
Yeah, good intensity, getting the team at the pitch, pressing. Yeah, you're going to give away fouls. That's part of having a press as a team, and if you're looking to win the ball back high up, you sometimes got to take those risks. Doesn't seem to be any hangover from a poor first half against Bournemouth.
Ball dinked forward from the free kick by RZ. First real attack from them. They're coming away down the left-hand side, but Pedro Porro again wins it back for Tottenham and plays the ball forward on that far touchline to Wilson Audebert. Now Romero inside the penalty area will find Van der Ven. And Van der Ven stretching those long legs and quickly making his way towards halfway. Son closed down by 2 Alkmaar players, so he just helped possession back into midfield, and Bergval. And now Romero into the centre circle. Spurs 0, RZ 0 here on Talksport 2. Goalless over on Talksport. Manchester United at home to Real Sociedad. That Europa League last 16 tie finally poised 1-1 from the first game in Spain. Rangers underway, leading 3-1 against Fenerbahce. And in the Conference League, Chelsea at home tonight against FC Copenhagen, 2-1 up from the game in Scandinavia last week, as Cope Miners plays the ball back to his goalkeeper Owusu Uduru. Only had 1 shot to save in that first game last week. I think he'll expect to be a bit busier tonight, the Dutch under-21 international.
And Tottenham this season, I mean, they've been very good going forwards. Second most goals in the Premier League, Tottenham this season, despite their league position. Lovely ball around the corner to Porro.
Solanke was just claiming that he'd been caught there, and he's rather gingerly making his way into the penalty area. Spurs on the attack with Odobert. Porro with a low ball this time. Solanke had made his way into the number 9 position, still not moving particularly freely, and RZ with enough red shirts to get the ball clear anyway. 0-0, and we've played 6 minutes, so Spurs still a goal down on aggregate. Romero urging his teammates higher up the pitch. Bergvall dropping into a back 3 at the moment for Spurs, and then trying to play it long upfield for Son. It goes over his head and sounds behind for a goal kick for RZ.
Yeah, just mentioning those, the amount of goals that they've scored this season, 55 of them in the Premier League. It's been at the other end that they've struggled, and I just wonder, with Van de Ven back and Romero back, you know, you've got Udogie on the bench, and Gray, and it's starting to get that strength in depth back. Can that make a difference in having a really good end to the season for Tottenham?
I feel a bit for Archie Gray, actually. He's played so many games out of position this season. Now they've got defenders coming back, Tottenham. He's got the opportunity to play in his preferred central midfield role, and he finds himself on the bench. Here's Son, the captain, down the left for Spurs. Really positive start. Son runs towards the edge of the area and then just passes the ball into midfield, and it's picked up by Burmeister. That's a couple of times Son has given the ball away cheaply early on.
He's had a strange season. Son is such a wonderfully talented player. He's obviously the captain here at Spurs and taking on that extra responsibility, but his performance levels certainly haven't been where we're so used to seeing them. I just wonder whether there's an issue there, whether there's an underlying issue that he's working on constantly injury-wise, because I don't think he's quite reached the heights that we know he can do.
It's a good ball out wide by RZ Alkmaar. It was the right back Maikuma, the 8 times capped Japanese international, looking for a raking ball out to Poku over on the left. Spurs smuggle the ball out of play for a throw, but it's midway inside their own half as Postecoglou stands pensive, arms in pockets, that pose we've become so accustomed to on the edge of his technical area. Still a brilliant atmosphere inside the stadium as RZ and Sadiq try and come forward. The ball into him was a little undercooked. Maddison won it back momentarily, and then Jordi Clarsey, the former Southampton midfielder, the captain, quickly retrieves possession for RZ. He was part of a Southampton team that won 2-1 here back in 2016. Clarsey, as Maikuma plays it through the legs of Son. There's an opportunity for Goose to get forward, the centre-back. He's trying to pick out Sadiq on this right-hand side, but strong play from Van de Ven, winning the ball back and quickly trying to turn defence into attack. Maikuma stops Maddison in his tracks on halfway, and now Spurs have conceded a throw around about 15 yards, 20 yards inside their own half on this near right touchline. 0-0.
I don't think I've ever seen many defenders give the crowd such a reaction as Van de Ven does. He's such an incredible athlete, and it just gives the crowd a lift when they see him outpace centre forwards.
Real Sociedad have a penalty early on at Old Trafford over on Talksport. 1-1 from the first leg, but a chance for the visitors to take the lead, and Oyarzabal, as he did in Spain last week, tucks away the penalty, and Manchester United on the cusp of an exit. 2-1 down on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. That game live over on Talksport. 0-0 here between Spurs and RZ Alkmaar. RZ 1 up from the first leg. At the moment, both Premier League teams are going out as it stands.
Well, I've got to say, yeah, you're right, the atmosphere is excellent. We weren't sure. It was very quiet, wasn't it, until about 15 minutes before kick-off. Very quiet, and then all of a sudden they've piled in and created a great noise.
A risky ball by Son, back into his own half. Romero there ahead of Poku, the wide man for RZ, and then Bergvall's had his pocket picked, and I think he's a bit fortunate to win a free kick there, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, it was good skill, but it was definitely read well by the defender. I just wonder whether there was a pull on his shirt slightly that the referee had seen.
Pedro Porro back to Romero, edge of the centre circle. 0-0 as we move into the 10th minute on Talksport. Spurs have already lost 18 games this season. And they've won only 4 of their last 14 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in all competitions. Madison into Jed Spence, left-hand side of the area. Bergvall back out to Madison on the left. Spence has stayed forward, little back heel into Madison. Madison with a teasing cross towards the far post. It was curling, that was well defended, and it's cleared by RZ to the halfway line.
Yeah, Penetra, brilliant position from the centre-back, just made sure he was right in line with that far post.
Mulawolfa feeds the ball down the line to Poku. Back they go to Geordie Classy on halfway, and that's a good ball into Coop Miners. I think he's offside, is he? Here, the RZ striker, Parrott. Assistant kept his flag down, and in the end, Spurs had enough bodies back there just to muscle their former academy product off the ball and clear the danger. Spence looking for Son, but intercepted by Mike Kuma. This is the best spell of possession that RZ have enjoyed. They've given away a throw, but deep inside the Tottenham half, and just a few words exchanged there between Son and Spence after a bit of miscommunication between the two down the Spurs left.
Yeah, it's been a couple of times, but that's what's meant to happen between teammates, is you tell each other you want better from each other and what you want. I don't mind seeing that at all. In fact, it would bother me if I didn't see things like that.
And that was a mistake from Mickey van der Ven, playing the ball needlessly out of play on this near side and giving RZ a throw. 12 minutes gone, 0-0, but just feels like the visitors are growing into the game after Tottenham started really well. Here is Mulawolfa down the left, closed down by Odobert. The ball spoons off Odobert and out of play for a throw. Tottenham fans still offering plenty of vocal encouragement here on Talksport till they've won 4 of their 5 previous European home games against Dutch opposition. They're going to have to win tonight to avoid elimination. Still 1-0 down from the first leg. Manchester United already a goal down over on Talksport at home to Real Sociedad. That would be Ruben Amorim's side crashing out of the Europa League. Here is Lucas Bergvall in the centre circle. Forward it goes to Papsar. He squeezes past out to the right-hand side in Odobert. They've got 4 waiting for the cross, too deep from Odobert. And Son is going to sprint to keep it in play down by the left corner flag, and then he runs it over the white line. It's out for a throw.
Yeah, it was lovely play through the centre of midfield. Bergvall, I think he's a terrific player, actually. Got lovely close control, just had a good awareness to flick it around the corner to Papsar and out to Odobert. He's got the pace to get down the outside. Poor cross though, wasn't it? Well over hit. Son couldn't keep it in, but certainly bright signs.
Here's Coop Miners looking to switch the play out to the left, and Poku couldn't quite find him, headed down by Pedro Porro with the score locked at 0-0. And then Odobert, that's a brilliant run from him past 3 RZ players into the penalty area. Gets it back, Odobert from Son. Can he find the cross this time? Blocked initially. He gives it back to Son, left corner of the 18-yard box, and now Madison forward to Odobert again, and he can't quite pick out Son this time, and it's cleared upfield by Sadiq.
Brilliant though, wasn't it, from Odobert? Lovely footwork, and that just easy pace, like it looks nothing to him, like he's not even moving his legs that quick, and he just went past 3 like they weren't there. Brilliant.
Here's Son. Madison with space on the edge of the penalty area. It's a shoot by the Tottenham fans. He tried to play it through to Solanke. It's blocked and then cleared away by Geordie Classy. And here is Poku. We're going to raid down the left, but Pedro Porro certainly has had his number so far. They're both very diminutive, aren't they, the wide men for RZ Alkmaar. At the moment, Tottenham coming out on top in the physical battle in the wide areas. Here's Jed Spence urged forward down the left into Madison. Madison 7 or 8 yards in from this left touchline, goes back to halfway, and Van der Ven again. Come on you Spurs is the cry. 15 minutes gone, 0-0. Ange Postecoglou's men still a goal down on aggregate, but have started this game well.
I think they've made an excellent start in the way that they've played, yet to really penetrate that RZ Alkmaar penalty area. But like I said, they're a very good defensive side, so out of possession they'll look to be narrow, they'll look to be compact, to make it really difficult for for Tottenham to allow Maddison and Son to have the space that they crave from outside the area.
They have only lost one of their last 8 games, AZ, but their away record is less impressive. 1 victory from their last 7 on the road. They don't need to win tonight. A reminder, if the scores are level on aggregate after 90 minutes, if Tottenham were to get an equaliser and win in 90 minutes by just the 1 goal, we would be heading for extra time and penalties. No away goals in European competition anymore, haven't been for a few seasons now. As Jordy Claessy plays the ball out to the left, and Müller-Wolfer was well forward, but it's an excellent sliding tackle to get Tottenham on the attack once more. It was Romero, brave and strong in the challenge, perfectly timed as well. Spence forward down this left touchline to Son. Solanke, Odebert and Sarr wait for the cross. Son goes short into the feet of Maddison. Jed Spence stays forward and he's in possession now. Plays it back to Mickey van der Ven, and now Romero. That's the type of challenge he made a few seconds ago that gets the home fans really engaged. Here's Son in behind his marker. Son with a cross along the 6-yard line. Again, AZ have got it away. Van der Ven trying to keep Spurs on the attack, but he's been dispossessed by Koopmeiners, and the ball played forward to Troy Parrott. Was he tripped by Jed Spence right in front of the Portuguese referee, who says no? And Romero is absolutely berating Parrott for what he feels was a dive. Here's Son into the penalty area, looks for the cross, blocked behind by Makuma, and it will be a corner. And the referee is just going to have to get involved here because there were some afters between Romero and Parrott. Dean Ashton.
I mean, Romero right in his face, wasn't he? Right in Troy Parrott's face. Wasn't happy that he felt like he'd gone down so easily, and then once he got back up, had another go at him as well. But you're right, that challenge from Romero earlier, look, if he doesn't get that right, he just completely exposes his own defence. But that's kind of the risks I think Ange Postecoglou doesn't mind his centre-backs taking.
Well, there's a delay here as the corner is about to be whipped in, because again there's some pushing and shoving going on right in front of the goalkeeper. Mickey van der Ven just shoved Makuma into the back of the net. You are listening to Tottenham against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Referee's still in conversation with 3 or 4 players from both sides. Son, meanwhile, stands and waits to deliver the first corner of the evening. Puts his left arm in the air, Son. So it's going to be played in towards Bergvall at the near post, but smuggled behind for a goal kick. And I've got to say, that was quite a disappointing set piece, Dean.
Well, unless that is something that they've worked on to have that flat delivery into the near post, but Bergvall was on his own, so either way, it didn't work. An opportunity missed as such. Bergvall just saying to the referee he didn't feel like the ball had gone out. I think he's got a great point as well, because he flicked it then onto Parrott's shins and out for another corner. Troy Parrott, 17 goals this season, 4 in the Europa League. He cost just shy of £7 million, the Dubliner. Handed his Tottenham debut by Jose Mourinho as a 17-year-old. Manchester United level against Real Sociedad over on Talksport. So 1-1 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate. Bruno Fernandes, who else from the penalty spot? There are some former players who think Bruno Fernandes is part of the problem at Manchester United. I suggest they'd be going down without him. Here's Bergvall, plays it out to the right-hand side. Tottenham looking to attack. Pedro Porro maybe with a chance to cross. Plays it to the overlapping Odebert. Odebert comes all the way across the 18-yard line and finds Spence in a central position. Son wants the pass into him. Just wonder if they could get balls into the box a bit earlier at times, Tottenham. Son's cross closed down by Makuma, and it's out for a throw. I think if I was Dominic Solanke, I'd want that. You know, when they've got that space to deliver, can they do it early? Can they give you the opportunity to just get ahead of your defender? Like I said, the build-up play up to the edge of the area so far has been excellent from Tottenham.
This game's still fascinatingly poised. 0-0 on the night. Spurs 1 down on aggregate. Here's Parrott with a chance to knock the ball out to his left. He was looking for the run of Poku. just overcooked the side-footed ball, and it's out for a Tottenham throw. Not had too much joy, have they, in the wide areas so far. Ernest Poku and Ibrahim Sadiq, his Ghanaian teammate. Pedro Porro hoists the throw up towards Solanke, but one back by RZ. Maddison then volleys the ball right-footed into the visiting half of the field. They've gone back to their goalkeeper, Owusu Uduru.
The only thing I would say is it's great to have those players back, isn't it, for Ange Postecoglou. Having come back from injuries, it's difficult. It's difficult to step in and be sharp and not have too much rust from not playing. That does just take time. It's as simple as that. So, don't maybe expect straight away that Solanke, Romero, Van der Ven are absolutely at their peak.
Sarr chips the ball forward over the head of Solanke, so picked up in midfield by Penetra for RZ, unable to keep possession again, the Dutch visitors, for too long. And that was an awkward ball from Pedro Porro, a risky one as well, looking for Jed Spence right in the centre of the Tottenham half. Didn't find him initially. They've got it back now with Son. Again, the Tottenham fans voicing their frustration there as the ball went all the way back to the edge of the penalty area. Could have been worse after the loose pass right at the start of it. Here's Maddison dropping very deep into the centre circle, but still inside his own half of the field. 0-0 the score on Talksport 2. A reminder, this game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, your home of European football. Lucas Bergvall trying to find Son in space down the left-hand side. The captain comes infield on his right foot and does deliver a first-time cross over the head of Solanke. Wasn't conventional goalkeeping, as he came and punched it clear by Owusu Uduru, but it got the job done. But that's what I'm talking about, Dean Ashton, getting the ball into wide areas and asking early questions with the deliveries.
Yeah, it was a brilliant delivery from Son, right into that area. Almost uncomfortable to watch as the goalkeeper comes out and Solanke's trying to dive in there. They're going to clatter. It's good goalkeeping. Owusu Uduru.
Pedro Porro gives it away again over on that far side, and RZ will come forward. Parra up against Van der Ven, slides in, wins it strongly. Another brilliant challenge by Mickey Van der Ven this time. And Tottenham fans enjoyed that one, pretty similar to the robust tackle that went in from Romero a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's that intensity that they both bring, actually, that gives the Tottenham fans a lift.
It's the voice of Dean Ashton, former England, former West Ham, former Norwich City striker, here on Talksport 2. Spurs 0, RZ 0. The visitors with their 1-0 first leg lead intact, and they've got through the first half of the opening 45 minutes. Vicario clearing the ball left-footed away from inside his own 6-yard box, plucked from the air by Maddison. Gets a bit lucky there, Maddison, because he played it against Goose, but the rebound fell kindly for the former Leicester midfielder. And Maddison now looking for Pap Sarr, asked a bit too much with the pass, and RZ will come forward with Burmeister out to the left-hand side and Poku. Patient build-up from the Dutch side. Jordi Claessy, the captain, back into his own half he goes, and then it's switched out to the left, and Muller-Wolfer. Claessy again on halfway, allows Muller-Wolfer to come forward. He skipped past the half-hearted challenge of Pedro Porro. Poku with the opportunity to get a cross in here, and he's been bundled over by Romero. It's going to be a free kick for RZ in a very promising position.
Yeah, and that looked like a body position of a player that's been out for a while. Romero got himself so square on, so easy for Poku, just a little shimmy, and he pushed it past Romero, who then just shoved him over. It was clever play from Poku on that left-hand side.
Spurs 0, RZ 0. 1-1 over on Talksport. Manchester United at home to Real Sociedad, goalless in the other Europa League game tonight with British interest at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 0. Rangers still 3-1 up on aggregate and it's Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0 in the Conference League. Lyon are leading FCSB by a goal to 0. The winners of that tie will play either Manchester United or Real Sociedad in the quarter-finals. Here comes the free kick. RZ have loaded up the penalty area away to our right. Needs a good delivery. Jordy Claessy with the ball in, and it flicks off the head of, I think, Poku, and behind for a goal kick.
So interesting to watch that free kick come in from the wide area. Decent delivery. Poku felt that Papsart flicked that on, but there was absolutely nobody anywhere near the halfway line for RZ Alkmaar. If Tottenham had have won that header, could have had a free run straight towards their goal.
Oh, they committed so many men forward from the set piece. Oh, and they've given it away on the edge of their own area. Dominic Solanke into Odobert, and Tottenham are level in the tie. Wilson Odobert capitalises on a defensive disaster class from RZ Alkmaar, and with 26 minutes gone, it is Tottenham 1, RZ 0, 1-1 on aggregate, and Wilson Odobert has his first Spurs goal. What a time to get it!
It's just what they needed. It's what the start of their performance needed. It's been very good, and it comes from the captain, Son. Chases down Goose, who tries to clear, and it ricochets off Son straight to Solanke, and he's a better man than me, because I'm shooting there and he doesn't. He just lays it off to Odobert and says you can simply fizz that into the back of the net, and he does so with his left foot up and into the roof. Lovely finish from Odobert.
And that should be the goal that gives Tottenham the platform to go on and turn this tie in their favour. 1-0 here, 1-1 on the night, but they've got the first half goal that Ange Postecoglou would have been craving. And they've got acres of space every time they come forward, Tottenham. Spence over the halfway line, out to Son. Looks to take on Mike Kumri, does well there. The right back for RZ, and they have possession inside their own half with Sadiq. And that's the goal the Tottenham fans needed as well, just to settle their anxiety, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, because there was a moment, wasn't there, a couple of minutes ago, where the ball was just played backwards and they weren't happy behind Vicario's goal, and they let the players know. But it's work rate that started that move off. Son with the work rate, Solanke with the unselfish play, and then Odobert tucking away clinically with his left foot. And a double fist pump from Ange Postecoglou as Odobert's rasping shot found the roof of the net. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, sing the home supporters. They want to be marching all the way to the final of this competition in Bilbao. Long way to go before we get to that point, but they've gone some way to arresting the damage that was done in the first leg last week with that Odobert goal. Maddison is down. Referee isn't going to stop play, so Tottenham are just passing the ball around among themselves, and now Maddison back to his feet as Jed Spence toe pokes the ball out for a throw, but he looks in discomfort, Dean. Yeah, he was just caught, I think, by Cope Miners, just on the Achilles as he played that ball out towards Son. Good night for Spurs so far. 29 minutes gone, 1-0 they lead. And it maintains a record of scoring in each of their last 30 home Europa League games now. I think we always knew they would score. It's about keeping the ball out at the other end. They did beat RZ 1-0 in the league phase. 1-0 tonight would take us to extra time. 1-1 on aggregate. Brilliant noise reverberates around this fabulous arena. But this is the type of performance, I think. Oh, it's a lovely ball from Vicario. He's so unlucky. Looking for Odobert, and the ball just scoots away from him and through to a grateful Owusu Aduru, the goalkeeper for RZ. But I think this is what Ange sees from his side, is that high intensity pressing, taking risks, playing out into midfield, and then your two centre backs dealing with any threat that you may have in the way that they have done so far.
Yeah, half an hour gone. 1-0 Tottenham lead. Wilson Odobert with the all-important goal. Tottenham 2 times UEFA Cup winners, most recently back in 1984. And this competition was known under a different name. Jed Spence under no pressure, able to chest a long punt forward from Penetra down inside his own half. Now Bergvall. They look very comfortable, don't they, Tottenham in possession, stretching and asking questions of this RZ team. As Van der Ven plays the ball out to the left, and Son looking for the first time pass from Maddison, cleared. Now Kuma is going to try and keep it in play down on this right touch line. Spence wins it back, and he's got a couple of Spurs players making an early run into the area. Couldn't find Solanke, goes down asking for a potential penalty as the goalkeeper Owusu Eduru clears upfield for RZ. I think he's had a good start to the game, Jed Spence, keeping up his recent excellent form. Here come RZ at the other end though, again committing bodies forward, trailing 1-0 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate. Geordie Classy back to the halfway line he goes, and now Penetra for RZ. A goal for them would get the nerves of Tottenham jangling again. Sadiq down the line to Maikuma. Maikuma into Sadiq, chance to cross. Parrott's made a decent run. It's not the worst ball either. Along the 6-yard box, Pedro Porro hooks it clear. Kept alive by Poku. Koopman is urged to shoot by the travelling fans. He probably should have done, because in the end he just scooped the pass forward over the head of all of his teammates and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's an awful pass in the end from Koopmeiners. Should have taken the strike on it. It was a decent ball in, you're right, from Sadiq on this right-hand side in behind the Spurs defence, but no danger in the end.
13 minutes to play in the first half. Vicario out to the edge of the area, and Spence asked a bit of Van der Ven there as he was quickly closed down by Sadiq. Makes his feelings clear to Spence, and RZ have a throw. Son just asking for a bit of calm, the Tottenham captain. There's always going to be a night of fraught anxiety. The ball is at the feet of the right back Goose, from a not dissimilar position actually, where Son closed him down and started the move that led to the goal. And this time Goose knows that Son's on his shoulder, and he just turned and smashes the ball into touch for a Tottenham throw-in.
But that's the pressure that Tottenham have put on RZ Alkmaar. They've been excellent in their pressure. Again, Romero and Van der Ven just being isolated means you can really squeeze up. Porro and Spence can be nice and high and aggressive, and use your forward players to go and try and hunt the ball back.
Van der Ven into Son. Son coming infield. Neat play again from Tottenham. He's got Maddison who wants to pass. Son's going to shoot from the edge of the area. Lack power, and a pretty routine save down to his left by Owusu Eduru.
Yeah, lovely, wasn't it? From Son, once he got into the position, he just waited for that to open up the space as he came in on the right foot and looking to curl into the far post, which is his almost signature finish. I'd like to see him mix it up a little bit more still, Son. Whipping it into that near post more often.
I'm just going to say, Ange Postecoglou's barely moved from the edge of his technical area in the opening 34 minutes. His RZ counterpart, Martin Martens, has done the opposite. He spent most of this first half sat on the bench. He's just come out to the edge of the technical area now, which is huge here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You could literally park the team bus in one of those. What message, I wonder, will he be getting out to his players? Trailing 1-0, but 1-1 on aggregate as it's given away by Pedro Porro, not for the first time. Poku, edge of the area, coming in field, and then plays it back towards the centre circle, and Goose will take over, and he'll be allowed to come forward and play it down the right to Maikuma. Maikuma away from Spence and into Sadiq. He's had his foot swept away by Maddison. It's going to be a free kick, and a cheap one for Maddison to concede. Another opportunity for RZ to get bodies forward and attack this set piece. I'm not sure that Maddison really needed to give that foul away.
No, he didn't. He just tried to win it from the wrong side, did James Maddison. He got back into position well and didn't need to have a little nibble. but he did. It's a dangerous position, and this has been the issue for Tottenham this season, is even when performances have looked good and they've had good periods, they then give away sloppy goals to put themselves under pressure.
It's going to be Maikuma, I think, to whip this in, or will it be Jordy Clarsey maybe? From the right-hand side, Clarsey hooked on inside the area. It looked as if Goose was in an offside position, and indeed the flag does go up, so it's going to be a free kick for Spurs and no real danger. Dominic Solanke, meanwhile, is down. I think maybe having been caught in the face as that ball was flicked on. It wasn't a brilliant ball in by any means from Jordy Clarsey. Spurs leading 1-0 here then, 9 minutes the first half to play. Wilson Odobert with the goal that separates the two teams on the night. It's 1-1 on aggregate. Manchester United 1, Real Sociedad 1 over on Talksport, 2-2 on aggregate there. And still goalless between Rangers and Fenerbahce and Chelsea Copenhagen. As it stands, both the British teams will be going through. Here come RZ. Burmeister, edge of the penalty area. And passing has been poor. Bergvall nips in and finds Son down the left-hand side. He's got 3 or 4 white shirts to his right. Son into the area, tries to shoot left-footed, decent block. Comes back for Son again, still inside a very crowded box now. Bergvall's got room to cross. He's going to shoot right-footed, curls it, looking for the top corner, over the bar. Goal kick for RZ, 1-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, great break. Son again, dynamic, positive with the way he ran. He did the right thing, just shifting onto the left foot. Just took too long to take the strike. Once he shifted it, it needed to be a swift left-footed strike. He took an extra step and it was blocked. And then Bergvall, when it came out to the edge of the area, as that Alkmaar defence parted, it just opened up a lovely gap to that far post for him to try and whip it towards, and a couple of yards over the top. But again, more positivity from Tottenham.
Yeah, certainly been their half. Maybe the only disappointment for Ange Postecoglou is that his team haven't created more chances to extend the lead and get their nose in front on aggregate. We've got a stoppage in play here because Ibrahim Sadiq is down holding his face over on the far touchline. Gives me an opportunity to tell you about some of the games we have coming your way on Talksport and Talksport 2 this coming weekend. I'll be at Loftus Road, 12:30 on Saturday morning. Big game in the Championship. Leeds, good midweek for them, wasn't it, with their rivals dropping points. Leeds winning last night. They go to Queen's Park Rangers. Here on Talksport 2, 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We've got Man City Brighton. That QPR Leeds games on Talksport, by the way. Man City Brighton on Talksport 2 on Sunday. Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, a Steel City derby at 12:30 live and exclusive on Talksport 2. And at 4:30 over on Talksport, Newcastle take on Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Darren Benton, the former Newcastle midfielder, Lee Clark amongst our commentary team for that one. Ange Postecoglou, I think Dean Ashton will be reasonably satisfied with the opening 39 minutes. His team lead 1-0.
Yeah, I think he'd be really pleased. Look, he'll want the players to brush up slightly on a few miscommunications and mistakes in possession. They've been a little bit loose and not been able to maybe build the momentum the way they would have wanted in the game. But in those flashy moments, they've been a threat, defended well. Also, with Romero and Van de Ven coming back, what you get is not only a better defender, they're actually better on the ball as well than the players that have come in for them. Both excellent in possession, Van de Ven and Romero. They're the ones that will look to, especially Romero, really looks to pierce a pass through midfield in towards Maddison or Odobert, and Son makes a difference.
Can they get a second, Tottenham, before half-time to take the lead on aggregate? They've just run the ball out of play. Papsar over on that far side for an RZ throw. RZ got all the way to the semi-finals of the Conference League a couple of seasons ago, lost to West Ham, you may recall, as West Ham went on to win that competition. Coop Miners brings the ball down inside the centre circle for the team in red, and it's chipped forward down this right touchline looking for Poku. So we're going to switch sides momentarily. Well won back though by Tottenham, and Jed Spence in the left back position, strong enough to get away from Maikuma, but then he just held on to the ball for too long. Cross into the area, brought down by Sadiq over on that far side, and his touch was heavy, and that allows Vicario to smother what looked a dangerous position momentarily. Dangerous situation for Spurs defensively.
Oh, it was, because it inadvertently found its way to Sadiq on that left-hand side, and he does Romero with a fake volley and then just cuts it back, but the touch was heavy. Vicario came out. If he takes a nice touch there, he's done Romero and Porro with that shimmy, and then could have had an easy strike at goal. Well done, Vicario, for spotting that and coming out quickly.
Bit of a swan dive from Bergvall, but he wins a free kick. It was a foul. Halfway inside the RZ half. We've got 4 minutes of the first 45 to play. Tottenham lead 1-0 on the night, so it's 1-1 now on aggregate. And here's Son, who's looked dangerous every time he's had the opportunity to come forward. Son shoots, right-footed, it was blocked, and then hooked over the bar by Odobert on the follow-up. Odobert, the Tottenham goal scorer, goal kick for RZ.
Brilliant from Son. Again, he's really growing into the game. The footwork was dazzling to find the space and take it away from Polku. And again, he's looking for that curling one into the far corner with the inside of his right foot. Been so good at it. Didn't quite catch it. Hit it with the heel rather than the meat of the foot.
You are listening to Tottenham against RZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van. I think the plan for Spurs now will be just to make sure they go in at half-time, at least with their 1-0 lead intact on the night. On occasion, RZ have looked like they could cause problems, but Vicario hasn't really had a significant save to make. Almost a role reversal of what happened in the first leg in the Netherlands. Tottenham so dominant in these first 42 minutes. And they will be confident, if they can maintain that in the second half, that more goals will come their way. A long punt upfield by Goose, but only collected by Vicario inside the 18-yard box.
But how they just set up there, Tottenham, just allowing RZ Alkmaar to have the ball at the back, setting up in a decent defensive shape. I'd want to see a little bit more of that in more games. Oh, what a mistake that is.
Yeah, given away by Romero, and the shot from the edge of the area, it's scuffed along the floor by Burmeister. Wonder if he could have taken an extra touch there. Tried to deceive the goalkeeper by going early, and he was sprawling to his right momentarily, Vicario, but the effort was always tame and off target. Is that just a lapse of concentration from Romero, giving the ball away? A bit of rustiness that you talked
just
about?
Exactly. That sort of lack of playing time. He saw the pass, it just got it horribly wrong. And Burmeister, I don't think was expecting it and took a poor touch to start with. I think you're right. Maybe with a bit more awareness, he could have just taken his time, went for the volley, horribly wrong and bobbled away. But Romero just putting his hand up there to his teammates. He knew he made a mistake.
90 seconds of normal time to go in this first half. Spurs 1, RZ 0, 1-1 on aggregate. Ball forward, looking for Poku. Down the RZ left, cleared away by Van der Ven. Just cushioned the ball down to Jed Spence. Spence gets it back from Bergvall. He was clattered. The referee's going to play an advantage. Maddison into Solanke with his back to goal. Solanke's looking to switch it out to Odobert. Didn't get that pass quite right, and RZ have it back now with Penetra deep inside their own half.
Yeah, and he's still got things to work on. Dominic Solanke, I still think he can improve. I think there's more to come from him. I think that build-up play can improve when it comes into his feet, back to goal.
We have to go back to January the 4th for the last time that Dominic Solanke was on the score sheet, but he has obviously missed games with injury. The ball is headed down towards Bergvall. It's going to be a throw-in for Spurs in the last 40 seconds of the first half. They lead 1-0. Wilson Odobert with a goal on 26 minutes. Created by a combination of Son's pressing and Solanke's selflessness and awareness to pick out his teammate in the penalty area. Here's Son hugging the near touchline. Maddison forward to Solanke, gets a little toe poke on the ball, but it's clear. We're going to be crossing to Ibrox in a moment. There's been a goal between Rangers and Fenerbahce, but RZ are going to clear up towards the halfway line. Parrott again is outmuscled by Van der Ven. He's not enjoyed that battle so far. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. Son running into the RZ penalty area, curling his cross towards the far post, but it's well dealt with by the team in red. That's very quickly here from David Tanner at Ibrox. Big goal there.
45 minutes on the clock. It's Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 1. Sebastian Szymanski, the Poland international who scored at Hampden Park 6 months ago, scores a cracking volley right on half-time. On the night, it's Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 1, on aggregate 3-2 now to Rangers.
Squeaky bum time at Ibrox. Poor challenge here by Burmeister, right through the back of Pedro Porro. Free kick for Tottenham within shooting range, Dean Ashton.
Oh, very much so. Maddison straight over, wasn't he? And Porro just discussing who's going to have this. Well, there's only one winner in my mind. James Maddison is such a wonderful technician from...
Looks quite an animated chat, actually. Son, the captain, had to get involved and almost usher Pedro Porro away. He's still muttering to himself, the Spaniard.
Again, I don't really care about those things. Yeah, you should both want to take it. Hopefully Son just made that decision, but ultimately Maddison's got the pedigree, hasn't he?
Well, this could be a massive moment, couldn't it? In stoppage time, at the end of the first half, Tottenham a goal up, 1-1 on aggregate. James Maddison, is going to shoot here.
That looks about 7 yards away the wall, doesn't it?
Right-footed, and it flicked up off the wall, did it? Behind for a goal kick, and I think Maddison quite forcefully is making the point to the Portuguese referee. The wall was nowhere near 10 yards.
Not a chance. Not a chance. That was 10 yards. 8 at best. Makes it so difficult as well for Maddison to then get that up and down.
Tottenham have their second corner of the evening, deep into first half stoppage time, leading 1-0. A second will put them ahead on aggregate, will put them ahead in the tie for the first time. Corner about to be whipped in from their right. Bergvall makes that run to the near post again, cleared to Maddison, chests the ball down, steers in the shot low, right-footed, blocked, and that will be the last action of a really entertaining first half here. Tottenham very much the dominant force in terms of possession and chances. It took until the 26th minute, Wilson Odobert with his first Spurs goal to finally find the back of the net and get them level on aggregate. But overall, Dean Ashton, I think Ange Postecoglou will be really pleased with what he's seeing.
Yeah, he will. That is much more like the type of performance he envisages. I think when he puts his side out, excellent out of possession. I thought Tottenham, their pressing made it so difficult for RZ Alkmaar to build anything themselves. That's where the goal came from, was excellent work from Son, and then unselfish play from Solanke. And again, we've seen it already in this half, what a difference Romero and Van der Ven make. Van der Ven in particular has just been fantastic in the way that he's defended. It means they win the ball back quicker, they start the build-up quicker. It just looks a much fresher Tottenham side.
So half-time here then, Tottenham leading by a Wilson Odobert goal to nil, 1-1 on aggregate. Let's get back to Ibrox. The half-time whistle has just gone, and David Tanner, it's going to be a nervy 45 minutes for the home fans.
Oh, very much so, Alex. The first goal in this one was always going to be a big influence on this one, but at half-time it's Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 1, 3-2 to Rangers now on aggregate. That 2-0 lead cut in half. And Rangers look comfortable, they look commanding, they look in control of the game until 45 minutes, and bang, a volley from Sebastian Szymanski, the Polish midfielder, just about burst the net. It was a cracking goal, and it came out of absolutely nowhere. I would say that Fenerbahce are not as bad as last week, but that wouldn't be difficult when they were awful when they lost 3-1 to Rangers. Rangers have had chances, they just haven't been able to put them away. Vaclav Černý, who scored twice last week in Istanbul, has had a couple of good chances, and another header from Mohamed Diamande almost crept in under the crossbar. There was a pass back which almost crept in when the Fenerbahce goalkeeper Irfan Can Egrabayat took his eye off the ball, and that's probably been Rangers' closest thing to a goal. So far, they've not been able to get anything really on target. At half-time, it's Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 1, 3-2 now on aggregate to Rangers.
So that game is on a knife edge heading into the second half. What about Chelsea against Copenhagen? Looks like a fairly uneventful first half. Ian Abraham.
Say that again. Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0. This would give watching paint dry and watching grass grow a real good run for its money. Chelsea haven't even managed a shot on or off target in the entire first 45 minutes. I don't understand what their game plan is. It's slow, it's ponderous, it's predictable. As for Copenhagen, their fans have been brilliant. All the jumping, bouncing up and down. Their team is all right, but they shouldn't really be on the same level of Chelsea. It's goalless here at half-time. 2-1 to Chelsea on aggregate, and it can only get better.
You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Half-time here then at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs back level on aggregate. It is Tottenham 1, AZ 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League. Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Charlie had just hired Joe. He was great. Seemed like he knew his stuff. So Charlie left him alone for 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, Joe managed to burst the main pipe and flood the entire ground floor. Workmates, they're a bit like switching your bank account for your business. You don't want any surprises. That's why we guarantee there won't be any when you switch with the current account switch service. Maybe it's time to switch.
Get ready for the most anticipated F1 season in years. And see every race live.
It's lights out and away we go!
See if Lewis will be reborn in red. Can Lando land the big one? Or will Max make it 5 out of 5?
Champion of the world!
The new season starts 16th of March. See every race live for just £15 extra a month. Only on Sky Sports F1. Offer ends 26th of March. Sky TV required. See sky.com for details. Further terms apply.
Critics are calling Last Breath the best survival thriller seen in years. Nothing short of epic.
Diver in the water at 300 feet.
Based on the extraordinary true story.
Keep the focus where it needs to be.
Slow your breathing down for me.
Get out of there.
Right now. Where's our power?
Stranded at the bottom of the North Sea.
What happens now? I can't rescue you if I can't find you.
Starring Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu, and Finn Cole.
I will come back for you.
We're gonna be too late. It's a body recovery now.
I'm not losing a diver today.
Last Breath in cinemas everywhere Friday.
Right, brace yourself. Co-op members get 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's and a chance to win Co-op Live tickets for a £5. Yep, a £5. It's kind of a big deal, eh?
You're unbelievable.
Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
Ends 25th of March, subject to availability. 100 pairs of tickets to be won. Co-op group members only. See co-op.co.uk/win tickets.
Whatever the job or project, when it matters to you, it matters to Trust a Trader. Find your top-class Trust a Trader professional at
TrustATrader.com.
Cheltenham. It's a proper festival. Proper hills, thrills and decibels. It deserves proper value. So William Hill give you a top price guarantee on the first and feature race every day at Cheltenham. That's proper value from a proper bookmaker. William Hill, Cheltenham, done properly. Online and in shop. Race winner market value 12 p.m. day prior to race start. Price comparison with selected online/shop competitors. Excludes lay bets and boosts. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware. Play responsibly.
Exclusive live Friday night football is for the Birds in a live and exclusive all-Avian clash as the Robins take on the Canaries in a championship clash which doesn't come cheap. Bristol City versus Norwich. Cuttlefish build up from 7. Feathers flying. Kick-off at 8. Only on Talksport 2. Beak there or beak square.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
Oh, what a finish!
The Europa League live on Talksport 2.
You are listening to Talksport 2. We're at half-time here in North London. It's Tottenham 1, AZ Alkmaar 0, so 1-1 on aggregate. A huge second half to come elsewhere. It's been another incredible day at Cheltenham, live on the Talksport network.
Entitlement and Rachel Blackmore are storming up the hill, but I don't think they're going to have enough to get to 6.5. Maybe wrong here, because 6.5 is is eating up the ground and has snatched it on the line. Air of entitlement, brilliant, getting up there to win.
So it's a bit of a quiet meeting if Rachel Blackmore doesn't have a winner.
It's contemptuous, it's arrogant, fact to file, too good, ears pricked. That was a demolition job with a gallant Hartwood, a well-beaten second, M.Y. Allen in third, and then Protectorat. But as arrogant as victory as you will see at Cheltenham.
Yeah, fantastic performance from Fact to File. He was looming up ominously, wasn't he? He travelled so well.
It's the two horses in the same ownership now. Rachel Blackmore may just have got Bob Ollinger up in front of Tiapu. Bob Ollinger, my goodness me, this could be a stunning exhibition of riding once again from Rachel Blackmore. A brilliant, a double on the day. Rachel Blackmore.
Another absolutely brilliant day at the home of racing. Jockey Rachel Blackmore was the star of the show on day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival as she won 2 races, including the Stayers Hurdle on Bob Ollinger. Tomorrow, Galopin de Champs bids to become the first horse since Best Mate to win a 3rd consecutive Gold Cup. Our coverage gets underway at 6 a.m. with the breakfast show live from Cheltenham. Alan Brazil and Ray Parler will be joined by actor Stephen Graham and Harry Redknapp. Then from 1 o'clock, Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker will bring you the first 5 races and a host of celebrity guests. Whilst on Talksport 2, Racing Live brings you comprehensive coverage of every single race from 1 o'clock with a bonus preview show. I listened to it this morning. Absolutely fantastic. 10 until 11 a.m. tomorrow. You can listen to all the shows via the Talksport app, where you can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. Let's bring you up to date with the half-time scores around Europe. Manchester United won. Real Sociedad won as a half-time score at Old Trafford. You can hear second half of that Europa League last 16, second leg over on Talksport. 2-2 on aggregate, as I say. Lyon lead FCSB 2-0 on the night. 5-1 on aggregate. They'll play the winners of United and Real Sociedad. Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 1. Now Rangers were 3-1 up from the first leg, so it's 3-2 now. And here, as I mentioned, Tottenham lead by a goal to nil at half-time. In the Conference League, Rapid Vienna beaten Borek Banja Luka by 2 goals to 1 after extra time. They go through 3-2 on aggregate. Chelsea 0, Copenhagen 0. Chelsea lead 2-1 on aggregate. Fiorentina 2, Panathinaikos 0, 4-3 to the Italians on aggregate. That's a half-time score. Legia Warsaw 1, Molde 0, 3-all on aggregate there. And Vitoria Guimarães 0, Real Betis 2, Antony's Real Betis. They are 4-2 up on aggregate. In League 2, it's Bromley 1, Walsall 1 at half-time. Now, in less than 24 hours, the New England manager Thomas Tuchel will name his first 23-man squad since taking over as the Three Lions head coach. You can listen, of course, to both of England's World Cup qualifiers against Albania and Latvia live on Talksport. And next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, Talksport have created a special documentary on the life and career of Thomas Tuchel called Tuchel's Revolution. Voiced by Adrian Durham, it tracks his journey as a manager, from learning from Ralf Rangnick in Germany to winning the Champions League with Chelsea, and his famous fallouts with various club hierarchies along the way. Talksport's chief football commentator, huge Chelsea fan, Sam Matterface, gave his take on how he expects Tuchel to manage the big names in the England dressing room.
I think that's exactly what the England dressing room needs. Someone who is a bigger personality than all of the players, and he is. He's a big personality, he's a leader, great as a communicator, but he won't take any nonsense. And the beauty of being the international manager, and we forget this at times, is that you're not as restricted in terms of who you can and can't pick, and whether you're saddled with someone on a 4-year contract. If you don't want them there, they don't come. That's it. You just don't pick them. It's easy.
Sam Matterface then as part of that documentary you can hear on Talksport next midweek, next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Dean Ashton has been set the task of naming. Is this what you think Tuchel is going to do in terms of his first England squad, or what you would do? You've got 23 names scribbled down.
I think it's more what I would do, because I think as England supporters, I think we'll all be the same. We'll all have our own opinions. Obviously, Tuchel will have the final say. Probably won't listen to any of us. But in goal, I would have Pickford, Henderson, and I would have Trafford in the squad, who's been absolutely outstanding for Burnley this season. In defence, I would have Trent, Branthwaite, Gahey. I would have Ben White if he wants to be available. I wonder whether he's been spoken to. Livramento, I would have, and then the two slight surprises, maybe Lewis Skelly and Tyreek Mitchell, who I think should have been in the squads for the last 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. And then as we go into midfield, Declan Rice and Bellingham, of course. Gibbs White, I think, has been outstanding. Curtis Jones and Conor Gallagher. And then maybe the two that would be a surprise is Elliot Anderson. I think deserves an opportunity. I think he's been so good for Nottingham Forest, such a talented player, and deserves an opportunity. And Ethan Nwaneri, I think, yes, he's very young, but why not give him that experience? He's already shown that he's absolutely brilliant and can cope with the pressure of already playing for Arsenal in the Champions League. And then in forward areas, Harry Kane, of course, Solanke, who we've seen tonight, Foden, Gordon, Palmer, Watkins and Bowen, but one of those have got to miss out to make the 20. In fact, just get rid of one of the goalkeepers and we'll keep the forward in instead.
And no Marcus Rashford then for you, too soon?
Not yet, too soon. I think he's shown real, green shoots of promise, but certainly not enough yet to warrant getting back in.
There you go then, that's Dean Ashton's England squad. You can hear what Thomas Tuchel does 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll cover it, of course, on Talksport and hear from the New England manager himself around about 11. Our understanding is that Miles Lewis-Skelly likely to be included in the squad. Tottenham players back out ready for the second half here on Talksport 2. They lead by 1-0 at half-time. Wilson Odobert scored it. I think we're going to see a change from RZ Alkmaar. Mies de Wit is coming on at half-time. He went through quite an intense warm-up during that 15-minute break. Son has just gathered his Tottenham players in a huddle, the Spurs skipper, and looked like quite a passionate pre-second half address, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I think he's got that in him, that's for sure. Son, I think he had a good first half, and look, it's a big half of football. The job's not done by any means. They've got to now produce another good second half performance and get themselves through to the next round.
De Wit is going to replace Sadiq, who of course did go down injured in that first half. So it looks like an enforced change for RZ, who are going to kick us off in this second 45. The Dutch visitors, all in red, are shooting from right to left, and Tottenham in their all-white strip attacking the goal away to our right. Here is Poku trying to play the ball forward into the penalty area. It's won back by Van der Ven. He looks an absolute colossus at the heart of that Spurs defence. Spencer's given it away. And RZ looking to start this second half on the front foot. They'll try and ask more questions of their Premier League host, but they've given away a foul for a challenge there on James Maddison, who was back helping out his defence.
I mean, they do take some risks, don't they, the Tottenham defenders playing out. It's an easy ball to be clipped into Solanke. They never use it. They keep trying to poke it through into midfield, into players that are under pressure, trying to break the RZ Alkmaar press.
Long ball punted forward by Spurs. Dominic Solanke, who's not had too many goal-scoring opportunities tonight, does well to win his team a throw in there, just put the pressure on the RZ fullback. Second goal would put Tottenham in front on aggregate, still 1-1 on that score as it stands. Here's Jed Spence coming forward down the left. Maddison with a chance to cross right-footed into Solanke. Defended competently enough and then chipped back towards the centre circle, and Van der Ven nods it on for Romero, who's just going to cushion the pass back to the goalkeeper Vicario, and it stays 1-0 Spurs on the night. Oh, Vicario almost gave it away inside the 6-yard box. That was really risky as he tried a little Cruyff turn inside his own area, and in the end he's managed to get the ball clear. Troy Parrott almost there, presented with an open goal.
Oh, he had a little panic up, didn't he? His feet were furiously moving. Vicario after the Cruyff turn that went wrong. Luckily he got away with it. He just turned and played it out, but that was almost a horror moment.
3 minutes gone in the second half. That's just a warning sign, isn't it, for Spurs, that even at 1-0 and looking comfortable on the night, it is a tenuous lead. Porro felt he was dragged to the floor there, but Tottenham are still coming forward. Maddison into the penalty area. Son back to Maddison, who shoots into the bottom corner. And for the first time in this tie, Tottenham are in front. James Maddison milks the adulation of the Spurs fans behind the goal. It's his 11th of the season. It is a lightning fast start to the second half. It is Spurs 2, RZ 0, 2-1 on aggregate.
Another splendid break, wasn't it, from Tottenham once again, from winning the ball back. It was Hotspur who set away with that pace once again, teasing it into Maddison, who's always on the half turn, always ready to look forwards. He then plays it out to Son and just waits for the return. And then when it comes back to Maddison, look, he's a maverick, and there's absolutely nothing Goose could do to stop him curling that into the far corner. Just brilliant from Maddison, picks his spot, firm side foot, nothing the goalkeeper could do, from just near the penalty spot. And it's a super start for Tottenham in this second half.
And just the start that Ange Postecoglou will have demanded. Another double fist pump from him. The dart celebration came out. James Maddison hits the bullseye. And it looks like Tottenham's European adventure is going to continue at least into a quarter-final. 2-0 they lead, 2-1 on aggregate, and now RZ have to score or they're going out.
And also it just means now you should be on red alert if you're Solanke, Son and Hotspur for the counter-attack.
Here's Poku down the right. RZ looking for an immediate reply to that second Tottenham goal. Low ball into the area. Oh, Troy Parrott probably should have shot first time. Tried to take a touch and then hooks it goalwards, and it's easily collected by Vicario.
Tiny let off that for Tottenham because Troy Parrott is free in the area. He killed it instantly, but it just stuck right underneath his foot as if his studs had got caught and burst the ball and was stuck in it.
What a noise now inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Bergvall comes away down the right into Hotspur. Hotspur, scorer of the first goal in the first half, plays it out to Pedro Porro. Right wing cross from him over the head of Solanke, and only cleared as far as Lucas Bergvall, who cushions it down beautifully to Son inside the area. Son just kept hold of the ball for too long, and it was Koopmeiners who made the challenge, and now RZ will run it clear, but one back by Bergvall. Cheeky little back heel from him into Spence. RZ regain possession on the edge of their own area. They lead 2-0 Tottenham. We've played 6 minutes in the second half, and Manchester United have another penalty over on Talksport, the third penalty of the game, 1-1. As that spot kick is about to be taken, what a big moment that could be. And how big a moment, Dean, is that goal from James Maddison, you think? Bruno Fernandes scores for Manchester United. They lead 2-1. They're going through to the quarter-finals as it stands. It's a good night for the Premier League club so far.
Yeah, an important night for both clubs, isn't it, to get through, especially both being at home.
Here's Papsar out to the left and Son. Will he come infield? Son onto his right foot as he loves to do. Couple of step overs, pulls it back. Son into the 6-yard box. His touch was heavy. His touch was heavy. It's behind for a goal kick.
His touch was as bad as yours. That's what it was. It was terrible. Honestly, what a chance for Son. Brilliant interplay, wasn't it? And then all he's got to do is take a decent touch and he'll just lay it on a plate for Solanke, who just falls to his knees in the area because he knows he would have had a tap in.
Tottenham dominating the early exchange of this second half, having scored the second through Madison. They lead 2-1 on aggregate, and it looks like it could be a relatively serene passage into a last 8 tie.
Just a little mention for Lucas Bergvall, the kid to start. He's been outstanding at the start of this second half.
Here's Jed Spence. Down the left-hand side he comes, but that was a good piece of defending by Mike Coomer, just forces Spence to run the ball out of play. And now Postecoglou a little bit frustrated by that, having been quite positive and confident in his body language for much of the evening.
I think, look, he'll sense just how on top his team are in this moment, and he'll want that next goal. He'll want some comfort. He'll want to rest, ideally, a couple of players in this game with the substitutions.
Here's Dominic Solanke into the penalty area. Solanke, can he pick out a teammate in the centre? His cross is blocked behind by Müller-Wolfer, but it's another Tottenham corner. More pressure to be applied. It will be Frankfurt, by the way, in the quarter-finals. They've beaten Ajax earlier this evening.
Come on, Dominic. You need to have a ruthless streak, a selfish streak, a greedy streak in him, because he does brilliantly to start with, just jinks away from the defender as he goes sliding in. He needs to be hitting that hard towards that near post, trying to flash it past the goalkeeper. His first thought is to look up and play to a teammate, when I think he can add that to his game, really. Because the third goal, it would be tie over, wouldn't it, really? You can't see that AZ are going to come back and score twice to take us to extra time then. Still, the corner waits to be taken by Pedro Porro. Very carefully places the ball down on the apex, down on this near right-hand side. Goalkeeper has been a little bit unconvincing with crosses at times. Pedro Porro to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed clear. Picked up by Son. He's urged to shoot by the Tottenham fans. He runs towards the area. Back out to Pedro Porro. Low cross blocked by Jordi Claessy, the captain, out for another throw. Confidence is up there, isn't it? Really good in this second half. Tottenham too quick, too much quality for AZ Alkmaar to cope with. Got to capitalise on this pressure and momentum.
Spurs 2, AZ 0, 2-1 on aggregate. Manchester United lead 2-1 over on Talksport against Real Sociedad. They're 3-2 up on aggregate. Rangers behind, but still ahead on aggregate as Tottenham win a corner. Let's quickly hear about a goal at Stamford Bridge. Ian Abraham.
Chelsea 1, Copenhagen 0. Keenan Dewsbury Hall inside the penalty area, 6 yards out, slotted past the goalkeeper. Chelsea 1, Copenhagen 0, 3-1 to Chelsea on aggregate.
And that should be game over and Chelsea into the Conference League quarter-finals. Corner on the near side for Spurs. Odobert short to Pedro Porro. Good looking delivery, right footed but cleared. Son dabs it down in the centre of the RZ half. Madison all the way back to the halfway line, but they're keeping the ball nicely here, suffocating their visitors from the Netherlands. Pedro Porro ball in, step over from Odobert. Must have got a shout from Sarr, it's clear, but immediately one back by Bergvall, and you can hear by the roar of approval he's already, the youngster, a very popular player with the Tottenham supporters, Lucas Bergvall. Vicario with the ball out to Madison in the right back position, forward to Odobert. First touch was heavy, but he still managed to keep possession. Into Pedro Porro, who throws himself to the ground. He, I think, was anticipating the challenge from De Witt, and it is going to be a free kick for Tottenham.
Well, at the moment, there's just nothing in this, is there, for AZ Alkmaar? They are just weathering this pressure and intensity from Tottenham.
Spurs 2, AZ 0. Poor free kick that, and AZ come forward on the counter as a result of it. Brilliant from Poku into the penalty area. Again, Van der Ven's just too strong. It's been the story of the night for AZ, given away by Spence. Parrott into Poku, poked behind by Bergvall. Corner for AZ. I mean, it's a really poor free kick from Spurs that put themselves under pressure, but brilliant again from Van der Ven.
He's just so quick, isn't he? He just is. I mean, He's got the strength to go with it. Poku was just brushed aside by Van der Ven, and he wasn't at full pelt. You could sense the way he was running back there that he still was just holding back, and he was still quick enough.
Short corner. Played to Classy on the edge of the area. No shot, just wide. Oh, that wasn't far from creeping in from Geordie Classy. And that would have changed the whole complexion of the tie again.
Yeah, lovely the way they worked that corner in short to the area, back out, zip to the edge of the area, and then looking for the curled side foot first time from Classy. Just wide. Poku as well jumped over the ball, hoping it was going to end up in the corner.
You're listening to Tottenham against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever the mission, home or away. Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. I've just had a message from someone who works at Brighton Hove Albion saying, go on Spurs, go on United, because of course the coefficient is so important for those teams challenging for a European place. I think it was dented a bit by Liverpool crashing out of the Champions League against PSG, but if both Spurs and United can get through, it would certainly help with the strong possibility of a fifth Champions League place, and therefore the Europa League and Conference League places filtering further down the table. That won't be Ange Postecoglou's main priority right now, but his team do lead 2-0, 2-1 on aggregate. We played 59 minutes here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and they've just got to keep this going, haven't they, Tottenham? Maybe just a little reminder with that Geordie Classy opportunity not to relax, maintain the quality that they've shown in the second half, go and get that next goal, give yourself that breather.
Yeah, next goal will be all important in this game, you feel, as Solanke just helps it on towards Papsar, stretching to poke the ball clear was Penetra. Van der Ven will restart Tottenham on the attack, and then Son was caught over on the far side, 2 players down. I think it will be a Tottenham free kick at the end of it. Son and Maikuma, the 2 players who are down, we're getting a replay on our monitor now. Maybe it was a foul by Son, actually, was it?
Well, I mean, they both just clashed shins as Son tried to protect the ball. Maikuma's gone through the side of his shin. And already there's movement on the Tottenham bench, and you just expect it because of the players that are coming back, and will have been spoken to the medical team, I'm sure, about how long they can play.
Postecoglou's frustrated because I think he wanted to get Archie Gray on before the game was restarted. That didn't happen, and now it's out for a throw, and now Archie Gray, who turned 19 yesterday, will be able to be introduced. And well, no massive surprise that it's Mickey Van der Ven who makes way.
No, not at all. Not what the manager probably would want to have to do, but ultimately he needs protecting because he's already shown in the hour that he's played what an important player he is, and what a class act too.
I think I'm right in saying that if Tottenham do go through, and I've already mentioned Frankfurt lie in wait in the quarter-finals, the first leg will be here at home, and the second leg over in Germany. And I know when we were covering the European draws, Kevin Hatchard, our European expert, picked out Frankfurt potentially as a team to avoid. Here's Wilson Odobert, forward to Dominic Solanke. Odobert out to the left and Son. Tottenham lead 2-0, 2-1 on aggregate. They're heading for the last 8 of the Europa League as it stands. Son crosses right-footed in towards Dominic Solanke. Good header away by Penetra, and then Pedro Porro volleyed attempt is well wide.
Oh, they hurt as well, Porro. Gone for the volley. It's caught it right on the end of the toe. It's just limped away. Eyes lit up as it floated towards him. They're on the break now at RZ, and that's poor. They've been poor, haven't they? When they've had the opportunities, RZ Alkmaar, to attack, they have been poor.
Here's Maddison, 15 yards outside the area. His pass is behind Jed Spence. He's going to be able to keep it in play, but it just takes a little bit of the momentum out of the attack. A reminder, over on Talksport, Manchester United were behind early. They now lead 2-1. 2 Bruno Fernandes penalties, 3-2 up on Real Sociedad on aggregate. Rangers a goal down at home to Fenerbahce. They lead 3-2 on aggregate in the second leg of their Europa League tie. And in the Conference League, Chelsea a goal up. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall has scored it. They're 3-1 up on Copenhagen. Here's Son dancing into the penalty area. Can he get a shot away here? No, sliding in was Penetra. I think that's the difference, isn't it, Dean Ashton? The Son of old, having done the hard work, danced past a couple of defenders, would have found a finish. Couldn't do it on this occasion, and AZ Alkmaar at the other end will come forward, but the ball into Cope Miners is intercepted by Odebeer, and a mistake by Bergvall, and Cope Miners has scored. And AZ from nowhere are back in this tie, back level. It was a huge misunderstanding on the edge of the area between Bergvall and Odebeer, and Cope Miners with a finish makes it Tottenham 2, AZ 1.
And they've just thrown away all that good play so far in the second half with such a silly mistake. Just a ball over the top. Archie Gray gets caught out by Troy Parrott in behind. He then cuts back in. It's a poor ball across. No issue whatsoever. Odebeer and Bergvall, what a mix-up. One of you needs to deal with it. I know you're both young. Got to deal with that situation. They don't. It falls to Cope Miners. And what a finish.
Excellent finish.
Absolutely rifles it into that far corner. The ball like frozen rope past Vicario, nothing he could do.
I think it's Bergvall's error, because he's passing it back towards his own box. He's passed it against Odebeer, who can't get out of the way. I'm not sure who the intended target was. Immediately Ange Postecoglou put his head in his hands down on the touchline, because a game that Tottenham were bossing, they were comfortable in, all of a sudden is back in the balance. We're back level at 2-2. Extra time is looming.
You're right, though. It was Bergvall who obviously scored that own goal in the first leg. He's been outstanding as well in this game. Absolutely excellent. But again, look, two young players, isn't it? A 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, a total mix-up, no one taking charge. And at this level, you get punished.
Here's Jed Spence down the left. One back by Geordie. Classy free kick conceded, though. So a chance for Tottenham just to regain their composure, regain control. And take a bit of sting out of this RZ fight back. Here is Bergvall into Pedro Porro. Bergvall gets it back, takes the ball neatly in his stride. Bergvall, he's now midway inside the RZ half on this right touchline as we look high up in the gods at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right on the halfway line, right behind Ange Postecoglou in his grey puffer jacket. He won't believe that his team have conceded, given the initiative to their visitors. Real Sociedad, meanwhile, are down to 10 men against Manchester United over on Talksport. They trail 2-1. Surely United are going through. Here's Son into the penalty area, went for the shot which ended up as a cross, and then Pedro Porro does well to win his team a corner. Just kept the pressure there on De Witt.
But again, it's brilliantly bright play from Son. Really positive he's been tonight, actually, when he's got that ball. He's not looked to turn back and play back. He's gone to attack. He's gone to dribble past players. He's opened the space up plenty of times for Tottenham, just lacking that little bit of quality at the end.
24 minutes of normal time to play. Spurs 2, AZ 1, 2-2 on aggregate. Pedro Porro with a corner into the area. Glancing header clear. Retrieved over on that left-hand side by Son. Now Spence. Look to go over to the left-hand side. Just leaves it in the end for Maddison. Maddison infield to Bergvall. Everybody bar Vicario is inside the RZ half as we look. To the right. This is Maddison. In the centre circle. He's going to spray it out to this right touchline, and Pedro Porro. Back to Maddison again. And now the next goal really is all important. Papsar forward down the left. Now Spence, chance to cut it back to Maddison. He's got one goal already. Maddison doesn't quite get to. Curling effort over the bar, goal kick.
Yeah, Jed Spence excellent again, overlapping on that left-hand side, cutting it back, just feeding it into Maddison on the edge of the 18-yard box, the corner, and he just takes it into his stride, and every time he looks to curl it, it's like a free kick. He sets up and runs at it sideways to look to whip it with the inside of his right foot to that far corner, and he's so close, it just doesn't dip enough.
Another change here for RZ. Burmeister is the player who is making way, and it's going to be Keith Smith who comes on. The 19-year-old scored against Fenerbahce in a 3-1 victory in the league phase. Oh, and straight away he's running at the Tottenham defence. Smith gets his shot away, blocked inside the area by Sarr again. I think Tottenham were trying to overplay it from the back, and the substitute almost nipped in within seconds of coming on, Dean.
I mean, again, it's poor defending. That could have been cleared, and it was missed. Went through to Schmidt. Look, I'm certainly not blaming Archie Gray. He's such a young player. I'm not even sure he's a centre-back, if I'm honest, and will end up being a centre-back in his career. But all of a sudden, they look so weak defensively.
Sarr into Odebert. Odebert with a cross towards Solanke, headed away, and then the clearance completed by Penetra. Out for a throw. And when we are in for a nervy last 21 minutes plus possibly extra time and pens. Maddison looking for Son at the far post. The cross was too deep. Kept alive by Spence. He did well there, nipping in ahead of Puku, who really should have been favourite to get it clear. And then Puku has fouled Jed Spence in trying to get the ball back. It's going to be a free kick for Spurs. Level with the left corner of the 18-yard box. 2-1 they lead, 2-2 on aggregate.
Another good performance, isn't it, from Jed Spence? Excellent that time to get in front of Poku and then win his team a free kick. But yeah, just going back to that change, Archie Gray for Van der Ven. They'd looked so comfortable, hadn't they, defensively? Van der Ven goes off and there's panic all of a sudden.
Corner from the left. Spurs 2, RZ 1. Maddison short this time. Then the cross towards the far post from Son is overhit. It's going to be a goal kick, and it's not quite been his best night, is it, Son?
No, I mean, there's been so many bright parts to it, but again, just lacking that high quality that we know he has. And we wouldn't put it past him to produce even in this match. He's capable of those moments.
There was a shake of the head from Ange Postecoglou as that cross was overcooked. Here is Vicario, the goalkeeper, playing the ball out to this near touchline. Odebert does well to chest the ball down and keep it in play. It was crowded out by 3 RZ players, but it will go out for a Tottenham throw-in. In fact, it's gone the other way. Postecoglou can't believe it, but it will be a throw-in for RZ just inside Spurs territory on this left-hand side.
And what they don't want, Tottenham, is it? I mean, they put in such a good display. It's been one mistake, and all of a sudden, with how tight it is, it feels like there should be no way at all that they could lose this game and be knocked out, is there, with the way that they've played?
Solanke dropping deep to find Odebert down the right. Maddison at the moment is the most advanced of the Tottenham players. Odebert infield to Pedro Porro. Porro running towards the box. Crosses deflected out to Son. Son gets his shot away, but again maybe took a bit too long and it's blocked. And now the counter is on potentially with Poku. Poku trying to run away from Jed Spence on that far touchline. Then playing the ball sensibly infield to Maikuma. Tottenham sitting very deep here with this 2-1 lead and 19 minutes to go. Those RZ fans on the far side stand in unison, believing that maybe the historic victory and a place in the quarter-finals is still up for grabs. Didn't feel that way, did it, when Maddison got Tottenham second early in the second half, but a mistake by Lucas Bergvall gifting Cope Miners the goal, and away back into this for the team from the Eredivisie. Long ball forward that Archie Gray's not really dealt with, brought down inside the area by Maikuma. Gray does well to win it back, and then plays it against Maikuma and out for a goal kick for Tottenham.
Yeah, he's had a tough start since coming on, Archie Gray. It's a couple of times now he's been outpaced and outmuscled and the ball's been played over the top.
Taking the goal kick short, Tottenham. Vicario eventually up to the halfway line, where it's brought down by Maddison. Son on that far side, back to Jed Spence. Now Archie Gray steers the ball into the RZ half, but out of play only for a throw. Maddison salutes the effort, but disappointing for Tottenham.
I mean, that goal is just... It's so strange, isn't it, how it can affect two sets of players. That goal, RZ Alkmaar all of a sudden look like a team that are confident and feel like they can cause Tottenham problems, and Tottenham have just gone off what was such a terrific tempo to their play.
58,000 inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. More than 1,000 of them have made the pilgrimage from the Netherlands. And we're going to get back to Ibrox there is short. There's been another goal in that game as Pedro Porro is put under pressure inside his own half. Goes back to Romero, and now Vicario plays it out to Archie Gray on the left. They're pressing really well, RZ. Seem to have found extra energy since they got themselves on the score sheet. But here's Maddison bringing the ball forward. Spence into Son. Son with a chance to run at Maikuma. Finds Spence on the overlap, and surely it's going to be tapped in by Odebert. And Tottenham's 2-goal lead is reinstated. It's a second of the night from Wilson Odebert. That will calm the nerves and the anxiety, because Tottenham now have one foot firmly planted in the Europa League quarter-finals. It is Spurs 3, RZ 1.
And that is absolutely a goal that was made in Ange Postecoglou's workshed, right the way from the centre-backs, all the way through. Spence into Maddison, magical bit of skill from Maddison to drift out of midfield. It then goes out to Son, overlap from Spence, in towards Solanke. It takes a touch off him, and then Odebert's just stood at the back post, just waiting to see if it lands his way. It does, he taps in. It's a terrific Tottenham move. It's what they deserve.
So Tottenham back in control here. What about Rangers? David Tanner.
And Fenerbahce have just scored. They have gone 2-0 ahead of Rangers, and that means they've levelled the tie. So it's 3-3 in aggregate. A second goal of the night from Sebastian Szymanski. Jose Mourinho celebrating down beneath me. It's Rangers 0, Fenerbahce 2 on the night. 3-3 now on aggregate.
Wow. Jose Mourinho did warn Rangers, didn't he, after the first leg? Don't celebrate too much. Maybe those words will come true. 3-3 on aggregate there. 3-2 to Tottenham on aggregate in this one. And Pedro Porro comes bursting over the halfway line once more. Maddison knows he's got Son to his left. Son finds Spence again. It's a carbon copy of the goal they've just scored. This time RZ smuggle it clear. All hands on deck for the Dutch side as Tottenham look to kill off the tie completely. Here on Talksport 2, 15 to play, 3-1 to Tottenham on the night.
And it's just been the mistake, that's all. Every other part of the game has been excellent from Tottenham.
Wilson Odebert trying to put Müller-Wolfer under pressure, and he knocks the ball out for a throw. And we're going to see Brennan Johnson introduced for the final 13.5 minutes, and so too Yves Bissouma. More fresh legs for Tottenham. James Maddison is the first player who is making way, so a more defensive-minded midfielder in Basuma coming on. But a good night for James Maddison, Dean.
Yeah, he's class, isn't he? You get the ball into him in good areas, he'll make it happen. Got his goal, was really influential there in starting that move for Tottenham's third. Good night's work for him, and you're right, Basuma just coming in to give a defensive edge to the midfield.
And Wilson Odobert, on the night when he's really come of age in a Tottenham shirt, he gets a huge ovation as well. The 2-goal hero makes way for Brennan Johnson. That was a big decision, wasn't it, that Postecoglou had to make before the game. Did he bring Johnson back in? Did he keep faith with Odobert? It's a decision that's paid off handsomely.
Yeah, he likes him, doesn't he, Odobert, and wants to give him the time on the pitch. And he's rewarded his manager with 2 goals.
Archie Gray with a clearance away for Tottenham, but Son can't keep it in play. Throw in for RZ. Another goal for them, and we'd be all square on aggregate once more. And that's a wayward cross, and it's behind for a goal kick for Spurs. You're listening to Tottenham against RZ Alkmaar in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football.
They don't make it dull, though, do they, Tottenham? That's one thing for sure. Probably not great for the Tottenham fans' nerves, but again, you know, if you're looking at whether the manager should stay here at this football club, there's been so much about this performance to enjoy.
Jamie O'Hara, who no doubt will be taking your calls on the Sports Bar over on Talksport later this evening, 0371722 3344. He's just tweeted, Dean, so not sure I agree with Maddison and Odobert coming off with 15 minutes to play. Let's hope it doesn't kill us.
Well, I think certainly Odobert is being protected. He's been out for such a long period of time. We saw with Van der Ven, he wouldn't want to take him off either, but again, now necessarily isn't the time to be throwing bodies forward.
Geordie Classy out to the right hand side. Troy Parrott's got acres of space if they can find him inside the area. They do find him, saved by Vicario, and the rebound effort is cleared off the line. Oh, that is absolutely sensational from Yves Basuma to deny what looked a certain goal. Not sure how Troy Parrott found so much space in between the two Tottenham centre-backs. Great save from the goalkeeper initially, and then the rebound effort from Smith is saved on the line by Basuma.
Well, I can tell you why. It's because Romero decides to go steaming out to that far side and leave Troy Parrott completely free. The ball gets played through his legs when it's put through to him. And it's a great save from Vicario and just outstanding from Basuma to get back and block.
Corner kick for RZ. 3-1 Spurs lead. But another warning sign the game maybe isn't over yet. The corner straight into the arms of Vicario.
Well, again, you know, you bring on that defensive player in Basuma, but ultimately as a manager you can't affect whether Romero just decides to go out of his position and leave a striker thinking he can block a pass, completely committing himself. The ball got played through. Parrott with a decent strike and a good save, and then the rebound was excellently blocked from Basuma.
Here's Spence at the other end. Sarr made the burst to the edge of the area, fell over, gets it back now. Sarr into the box. Johnson wants the ball played to the far post, back to Son. Spence didn't know he had a player behind him until the crowd told him. Keep possession well here, Tottenham. Pedro Porro level with the 18-yard line. Spurs 3-1 up, 3-2 on aggregate with 9 minutes of normal time to play on Talksport 2. Another change, by the way, for RZ. Just as that corner was about to be taken, Mex Meerdink has come on to replace Maikuma at right back. So again, that's an attacking change. RZ know another goal for them, and we're heading for an extra half an hour. Still tight over on Talksport as well. Manchester United 2-1 up on the night, 3-2 on aggregate against Real Sociedad. Sociedad are down to 10 men, and Rangers, as we heard from David Tanner, looks like they're heading for extra time at Ibrox. 3-3 now on aggregate against Fenerbahce. Chelsea cruising through in the Conference League. They lead 1-0, 3-1 on aggregate against Copenhagen. Good cross that into the penalty area, and another huge opportunity. And it's nodded over the bar from 6 yards out.
It's the substitute Meerdink. He's literally just come on, gets himself into the area. Brilliant arcing ball in, and Parrott is right behind him. Parrott's just going to nod this in, and Meerdink just comes from behind him, gets up and misjudges the flight and just heads it over. Really, that should have been left for Parrott just to head home. But again, you know, this is the issue at times, I think, with Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou, is they've got themselves into a great position. They've got themselves the goal, and then they're looking for the fourth goal and the fifth goal, and their fullbacks are high, and their midfielders are going out of position, and the centre-back's diving out when he doesn't need to. There just needs to be an air of control about their performance once they get themselves ahead the way they have done now.
Lucas Bergvall is down with cramp. And a big smile on the face of Wilson Odobert, just shown on our monitor, sat in the back row of the Tottenham bench. 2 goals for him tonight. The second could be all important, just as AZ had got themselves back in the match and looked like they were building ahead of steam. Bergvall still down. Ben Davis is going to come on. He himself has had 1 or 2 injury issues of late. I think alongside Son, probably what the only survivors from that Champions League final team against Liverpool under Mauricio Pochettino. A reminder, more big games coming your way tomorrow night here on Talksport 2. Bristol City against Norwich in the Championship. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff Saturday, live on Talksport. QPR Leeds looking to get back into the Premier League after last season's playoff heartache. That's a 12:30 kickoff. Here on Talksport 2 at 3, we've got live and exclusive coverage of Manchester City against Brighton, a Steel City derby here on Talksport 2 on Sunday at 12:30. Sheffield Wednesday against Sheffield United, and at 4:30 on Talksport, Newcastle take on Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Davis for Bergvall is the change. Just fresh legs?
Well, obviously Bergvall
looked like cramp.
Yeah, it did, and you just hope that's all it is. Davis will go and sit alongside Romero at centre-back, and Archie Gray will change positions once again into a deep-lying midfield role, and Pat Sarr can just get a bit further forwards. But plenty of appreciation for Bergvall as he walks behind the goal.
Yeah, alongside the Tottenham physio, applauding the fans along the route. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is the biggest 5 minutes of Spurs' season. If they can hold on to their 3-1 lead, 3-2 on aggregate, they'll be into the quarter-finals. But here's Poku. AZ still look like they've got another goal in them. Meerdink out to Classy on the edge of the area, but he was offside. It's going to be a free kick for Tottenham, and a big roar goes up behind the goal.
I know what you're saying, though. You don't ever feel as if it's just they're going to be able to see the game out, Tottenham. And that's something I think they need to build, is that bit of resilience and that humbleness, just to say, yeah, we've done our job, we've played magnificently well, we're ahead in the tie, let's see this out, let's make sure we're ruthless and get through.
And a reminder, it will be Frankfurt in the quarter-finals for Spurs. Manchester United, assuming they hang on over on Talksport, will be up against Lyon. And you'll hear both those games, both those quarter-finals on the Talksport network. We've got a huge end to the season domestically and in these European competitions. Villa PSG in the Champions League. Manchester United away from home in the first leg against Lyon, assuming they don't concede late on Talksport. Are Spurs going to concede here? Brennan Johnson ensures they won't from that attack, and he carries the ball all the way into the RZ half. It's swung back by Reece Smith, one of the RZ replacements, and now Romero in the right back position just plays it down the line to Pedro Porro, infield to Basuma. That goal line clearance, that was as good as a goal, wasn't it, for Tottenham, as Archie Gray is wrestled to the floor. Free kick for Spurs just inside their own half.
Yeah, it was vital from Basuma
Substitution for us at Alkmaar, replacing number 3.
And again, I think something else they could do better, Tottenham, is start to keep possession. You've got good technical players, start to keep the ball and make Alkmaar really work if they want to get back into this game.
Free kick a yard into their own half. Tottenham, Romero, does he punt it long or just try and keep possession? He's looking for Solanke, but it's headed away. Down to Schmidt. Those socks roll down. Back into the RZ half and Penetra. And then it's sent forward by the goalkeeper, Owusu Uduru. It's going to go out for a throw-in over on that far side for the Dutch visitors. 2.5 minutes to go on Talksport 2. 3-1 to Tottenham, 3-2 on aggregate. It's been another lively and eventful night in North London. Here's Schmidt now, coming in from the left-hand side into the centre of the Tottenham half. It's a good ball out to the right, and there's plenty of red jerseys to aim at if they can get across into the box here. They've been forced back to Penetra. And now Jordi Clasie on the edge of the centre circle. Penetra does hoist it forward. The goalkeeper should get there first, and he does so. Vicario, quite an easy cross to deal with. And Bruno Fernandes, who remembers a massive problem for Manchester United, he's just completed his hat-trick. 3-1, they're going through.
Another penalty?
Apparently not. Honestly, it's ridiculous. If you think anybody thinks Bruno Fernandes is top of United's list of issues, they really don't know football, in my humble opinion. Here's Schmidt. It's going to be a free kick for RZ for a Tottenham offside.
I do agree, though.
And you do know football, Dean, actually. You're listening to Tottenham against RZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van. And well, this European adventure for Spurs looks like it will continue at least for another round. But RZ still coming forward, still looking dangerous. Ball in towards Smith on the edge of the area. Tottenham again are sitting very deep as the cross from Müller-Wolfer is blocked. It's going to be a throw-in for RZ, level with their travelling fans over on the far side. We're into the last minute of the 90. I don't think there'll be too much added on time at the end of the game. Remember, an RZ goal now, and we will almost certainly be heading into extra time. Penetra out to the right-hand side to Poku. Poku taking on Son. There's a line of red jerseys in the centre, and it's a good ball in. Schmidt, side-footed volley into the side netting. Offside flag was up anyway.
Yeah, Poku excellent in the way that he got past and down the side of Son to clip that in towards the far post. And Schmidt maybe slightly selfish in trying to side put that in from such a tight angle, maybe played that across and had 3 sets of eyes on him saying, why didn't you just play that back across?
There are going to be 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. Tottenham 3, RZ 1, 3-2 on aggregate. Son gives it away inside the centre circle. Poku down the right. Again, there are plenty of options in the centre. Poku tried to drill the cross in low. Jordi Clasie was closest to getting on the end of it. It's cleared by Spurs, but the danger not fully averted yet. Here's Müller-Wolfer linking up with Schmidt. Now the chance to turn on the edge of the penalty area. Can they cut it back here? RZ, again, there are a cluster of red jerseys to aim at, and they won a corner. Have they no goal kick is the decision? Well, the RZ players can't quite believe that.
I think it's the right decision, though. I thought Spence did really well once again to get back. You think you've got past him, and then the pace and the range he has with those long legs to get back and make a challenge. But they've looked uncomfortable, Tottenham, in just trying to see this out. Very uncomfortable.
And they're going to have to be better, aren't they, over the 2 games against Frankfurt in the quarter-finals. That's going to be a step up in opposition.
Massively, yeah. some very recent success in Europe for Frankfurt.
We're into stoppage time at the end of the 90. Tottenham need to see this out. Need to keep RZ at bay. Ball again is out to Poku on the right, but Son nipped in there first and just keeps possession. Son, really well done. He's won the free kick because he knows it's gone out for a throw. He wants the free kick. I think the referee knew he was looking for it, and RZ maybe with a chance to get it forward once more. It's in their right back position. Hoisted in towards Troy Parrott. Pedro Porro on the edge of his own area, nods it down to Vicario. It collapses on top of the ball. Big cheer for the Spurs goalkeeper for that moment. Eats up a few more valuable seconds. We've still got more than 2 minutes of added time to play though.
Yeah, but this is all part of it. This is all part of just seeing a game out, is taking your time, is using all of those tiny advantages you can gain and get away with.
The goalkeeper, Owusu Aduro, hoists it forward. Vicario, brilliant starting position. Got there well ahead of Poku. And then bowls it out to Jed Spence. If Tottenham just keep the ball here for the final minute, they're going into the quarter-finals. Sarr launches it forward, looking for Son. Solanke now. Showed a little bit too much of that inside the centre circle, and RZ are going to get one last opportunity to attack. Now or never for the Dutch side, and it's a free kick conceded by Archie Gray, and the goalkeeper, Dean Ashton, is racing forward to get on the end of it.
May as well. Again, it's their own doing though, Tottenham. Dominic Solanke with the ball into his feet, tried to do too much. No! Just clip that into towards the corner. Let Johnson go and chase it. It's just strange decisions.
This would be so Spursy to concede now the last attack of the game. United have gone 4-1 up. Diogo Dalot, they're definitely through over on Talksport. Here comes the free kick over the head of the goalkeeper, nodded down inside the box towards Parrott, cleared by Solanke. Still, we play on with Classy, but there's the full-time whistle, and Tottenham are going through to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, as is the story under Ange Postecoglou. They've done it the hard way, 1-0 down from the first leg. That lead cancelled out midway through the first half by Wilson Oliver's first ever Tottenham goal. It looked like the tie was pretty much in the bag when James Maddison scored and put the hosts in front early in the second half, but Tottenham then gifted Cope Miners and RZ away back into the game, and it was Odobert with his second who absolutely sealed it. There were still nervy moments at the end with Daniel Levy watching on, but ultimately Dean Ashton, job done.
Eventually, terrific performance for so much of that game, but you can just still tell there's still a little bit of scarring, isn't there, from what's been a poor season from Tottenham. But look, if they're capable of having that consistency of that performance, they could go a very long way in this competition, because now that they've got Romero, Van de Ven, if they can stay fit, they were terrific until Van de Ven had to go off, and then they all of a sudden looked a different team, looked vulnerable. But I think it's a massive positive that they've been able to overcome RZ Alkmaar and get themselves through and continue to have something to play for this season.
And in terms of some of the standout performers, Lucas Bergwell's game seemed to go downhill after you praised him, but you take the mistake out of it. Again, a very mature performance from the young man.
Oh, he was outstanding. Look, again, yeah, it's a mistake. He's 19. You are going to make these mistakes, and it's really unfortunate, but his all-round performance was excellent. I thought Jed Spence was magnificent again in everything that he did. I know Son didn't get the end product he wanted, but I actually thought he looked more like himself. He looked really positive and was a real sort of difference maker tonight.
So Spurs are through. It was never really in doubt in West London.